Hey, Misfits. I'm your host, Melinda. Thank you for joining Mystery Loves Company. Now hold on to your butts as we go on another mysterious adventure. Let's see what today has in store for us. Hi, guys. Melinda here, and we've got...
Chantell.
And so today we have a super creepy story for you. And I'm gonna preface this with, while I was doing my research for this story, I can't sleep. My sleeping has gone completely down the drain.
It's a scary one.
Super scary.
It takes a lot to creep both of us out, and this one is,
It's
lots of unexplained things in it.
It is. Yes, lots of scary shit. And like I got to the point where the other night I was going to bed and before I went in to wash my face, I actually covered up my mirror that I have in my bedroom. I covered it up with a sheet. And then my husband walks upstairs and he lays in bed and I'm in washing my face and he's like, "Melinda, why is there a sheet on the mirror?" I'm like, "'Cause I'm freaked out."
Although I think that's normal. Last vacation we went on, there was like a vanity with a mirror, and I put pillows against that as well.
Like you covered it up?
I don't want no demon coming through that mirror.
No, and all this research that I'm doing is showing that mirrors are portals, and I'm like, all I'm doing is listening to demonic shit right now, so we're just going to cover that mirror up.
I don't blame you.
Yeah. My husband he was not humored by it. He was like, "You're freaking weird. You are a weirdo."
Okay,
and I'm like,
weirdo.
I'm like, "Yeah, I am."
Bed.
Exactly.
That's funny.
Yes. So, let's just dive into the story.
Yeah.
November 2011, LaToya, her mother Rosa, and her 3 small children move into 3860 Carolina Street, Gary, Indiana, in the Highland Park subdivision. This house was built in 1926, and this house is now dubbed the Demon House, a.k.a. the Portal to Hell.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wonder who deemed it that. Like, who named that?
Named it the Demon House? Oh, gosh.
Everyone, probably?
I would assume. I would assume probably the neighborhood. Or I have no idea. But I can tell you, well, actually, we'll get into that in a little bit. So, LaToya rents this house out with her mother and her 3 small children. And they live there for about a week before weird things start happening. And the first thing that starts happening is an infestation of large horseflies in the dead of winter. Like, this is November in Indiana. And so they have an exterminator come out.
And this was in their screened porch area, right?
Yes.
Like inside the house.
Inside.
Which is weird.
Absolutely. So there's the door to the outside of the house, and then you walk in kind of a breezeway area before you walk through another door to get inside the house.
And I thought that was weird too, is it's nothing special. Like, this house is like the same house as all the other houses in the middle of a block. Like, there's nothing.
They all look exactly the same.
They do. It's weird. It's not like an old creepy house. It's like a normal.
I mean, it was built in 1926.
I know, but it's not like, it doesn't stand out, you know?
No.
Yeah.
If you were to drive by it, you would not blink twice.
Yeah, you wouldn't pick it out, which is interesting.
But so the exterminator comes out, sprays it. It does absolutely nothing.
Oh, the flies didn't go away?
No. Nope, they stayed. And they were like the really large horseflies, just completely infested.
Huh.
Yeah.
Gross.
So, not too long after this, Rosa, she would hear footsteps going up and down the stairs while the kitchen cabinets would all open on their own.
Rosa's the mom?
Rosa is the mom, not the grandmother.
Oh,
no, Rosa is the grandmother. I'm sorry.
Grandma. Okay.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yep. So she starts hearing all these things, seeing all these things, and she's just kind of like, well, that's weird, but...
You think you'd move out?
Well, you would think so.
Wasn't this family a little poverty-stricken?
Yes.
So they were kind of forced to stay?
Yep. They were a little bit stuck. They wanted to move out, especially after some of this shit takes place, but they didn't have a choice.
Scary.
Yep. So one night, LaToya, the mom, not the grandma.
Okay.
LaToya wakes up in the middle of the night and has this urge to look into the hallway for some reason. She still can't figure out why she wanted to. And this was the first shadow man that she has seen. And so the shadow man was pacing in her living room. And she gets out of bed to go check it out.
Yeah. Mistake one.
Mistake number
Hide
one.
under those covers.
Right?
If you're under the covers, nothing can get you.
Just close your eyes. Yeah. I mean,
keep your feet in.
Yep. Do not let them hang off the bed.
No.
But yeah, so she's a strong woman.
I guess if she had kids, though, she's like the protector.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta get up and figure that out.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, dang. Yeah, that would suck. Ew. So she gets out of bed, goes to check it out, and while she's looking around her living room area, she sees muddy boot prints where she saw the shadow man walking.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's creepy.
That is creepy. Like muddy boot prints, which actually will make sense here in a little bit.
Yeah.
But at first, I was just like, why would they be muddy? Like, why would a ghost have muddy feet? You know?
Yeah, right.
But now I can kind of understand.
So did they go like from the door in the hallway, or just the hallway?
Well, it's like the hallway and the living room. Like it's just pacing.
I just wonder if she thought someone like broke in, right?
Possibly, yeah.
Because if you
see someone walking around and you hear them walking
that'd
around,
be so scary. You'd be calling 911, man.
Yeah, but and then you ask yourself, did they have cell phones? Because so many times you would think 911 would be called.
Yeah.
And it's like, did they have...
What year is this?
Well, 2011.
Okay.
So, I mean, there were cell phones. I'm
Right.
just not sure if this family had cell phones.
Or if they had weird stuff happening up till then and they were just thinking it was like paranormal a bit, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah? I don't know.
Yeah. That's true. So, they deal with this stuff for a while. Like, it all started in November. And they deal with this until shit starts to get real, March 10th.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So March 10th, 2012, they have a gathering at their house. And unfortunately, it was to grieve the death of an anonymous loved one. And at this time, the 12-year-old daughter was found levitating above her bed, completely unconscious.
By
Levitating.
who?
The family members that are there at the
They
wake.
just walked in and saw her?
Yeah. Somebody.
Okay.
So somebody sees her doing this. They gather the rest of the family. And so then everyone attending the wake started praying around her until she gently fell onto the bed.
Whoa.
Everybody that was at that wake refused to ever go back to that house.
Yeah. I don't blame them.
They're just like, hell no. They're like, you guys need to get the hell out of here.
Wow.
But they can't because they can't afford to move.
Oh, and this family was really religious.
Very religious,
right?
yes.
So they just went to prayer, not their cell phones.
Not their cell phones. They went straight to prayer.
Yeah, straight to prayer. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not Googling, like, why is my niece levitating?
Or
They're
recording it,
yeah,
views and all that.
busting out. Well, and so I don't think we had all the socials that we have now.
I don't know.
And maybe
MySpace.
We did have MySpace.
Yeah. But I mean, if they were like older religious, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So at this point, LaToya turns to the churches. And so all the churches in the area, she's like begging for help. Hey, my daughter's levitating. These are the things that I'm seeing happening in my house. Like I need help.
Yeah.
And but the churches refused to help as they refused to step foot on the property.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, probably because they were like, that's scary shit.
Yeah, but why didn't they did they try?
No.
Isn't that what they're supposed to do?
And so that, I actually have a question written in here on this.
Okay, let's
because
hear it.
I'm confused about it too.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the churches, let me see. So what are the requirements to get the church to help in these situations? Like, are there certain requirements, certain hoops you have to jump through, certain specific things that have to happen?
And what kind of church? Catholic churches help, right? Like,
well, and I would assume, I'm
don't
assuming
know.
these are Catholic churches, or at least one of them was probably a Catholic church.
Most of the Catholic churches, I thought that's what they would do.
Well, right. I mean, I know that you can get like holy water, like you can go into a Catholic church and ask for holy water, and they'll give you some holy water. And I know that a lot of times with exorcisms and stuff like that, like there's always like an old priest and a young priest, but they're from the Catholic Church.
That is very true, yes. One old, one young, coming together. But yeah, it's the Catholic Church, right? I don't know. We should look into that. We should call our church and see if they'll come. Or like,
Prank the church.
No. No. We're not pranking the church. No, you're creepy. Your house is creepy. We should set it up. We should see if they'll come out.
My house is creepy.
It's so creepy.
Gosh.
This one's haunted. Yeah, but we should call and see the requirements of that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we can call around and see.
But they wouldn't come, and that sucks.
They wouldn't. Well, and the thing is too, like Papa Lee, he was a deacon at the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
So I bet I could get some answers from Grandma Dar.
But then you have like the private investigator groups too.
Yeah.
Like Ed and Lorraine.
Mm-hmm.
So fun.
Yeah. And get some people out here and be like, hey, check my house out.
Yeah.
So anyway, the church did not help her. They didn't want to step foot on the property, but they did give her a little bit of advice. They told her to cleanse her house with bleach and ammonia.
Bleach?
Yep. Scrub.
That's not holy water.
I know. I've never heard this before.
That's why I have no ghosts in my house.
Your house is so squeaky clean. Like, I would eat off your baseboards.
I know. No ghosts there. And bleach and
ammonia.
Ammonia. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the first time I've ever heard of something like that when it comes to...
That's lame. That's not cool.
I could understand, like, sage, like burning sage.
Yeah, it doesn't say. Holy water.
Like, blessing
sage,
your home.
Crosses.
Yeah.
Like, take some bleach to it, lady. You're fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's some more stuff, but they did say to cleanse it with bleach and ammonia and to draw crosses on the doors and wash the children with holy olive oil.
Where do you get that?
I think you just have to pray over your olive oil. Like, I don't know. Can you buy holy olive oil off Amazon? Like,
are you supposed to eat it or just like drench yourself in it? Oh, I bet Amazon has it. Let's look it up.
We're going to after
if not,
this.
We're going to totally market that.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
I'll pray over the olive oil
and I'll sell it.
Yeah,
sounds
absolutely.
Good. Okay.
So yes, to cross the doors, like all the entrances into the home, which would include like windows and stuff like that too, and to bathe the children in the holy olive oil.
Weird.
And they told her to create a makeshift altar in the basement. The altar consisted of a white sheet, a Bible, candles, and the figurines of Mary, Joseph, and Jesus. So she did. She created this altar. And
Interesting.
I'll bet she had those figurines on hand even.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. If she's religious, I bet she had them.
Yeah.
Why in the basement? Was it creepy?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it was creepy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing the picture. No, you just don't go down there. You just lock it up.
Right?
Put olive oil around it. And
100%. I wouldn't go in that
seems
basement.
like you're creating a portal or something when you're doing that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and so I have lots of questions when it comes to the basement as well. So then LaToya does all of this. It does nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Poor lady.
Shit keeps happening inside the house. And so then LaToya finds two psychics. And they come to the house and they told her that she was living with over 200 demons.
Wow.
Over 200 demons.
That's a lot of demons.
It's a lot of demons. And like both of these psychic mediums are just like you need to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
You need to leave now.
Crazy.
And again, she could not afford to leave. Oh, it sucks. And so, yeah, she couldn't afford to leave, so still stays in the house. So LaToya starts reading from the Bible as she would perform kind of like a makeshift exorcism while reading the Bible verses out loud, trying to cast the demons from her home. Like, she's like, whatever, like DIY. I'm going to figure this shit out by myself. Nobody's going to help me. I'm going to really try and exorcise the demons.
Seems really high risk.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
That's just going to piss them off.
At this point, things get worse.
Oh.
They get much worse. So, I just got goosebumps because I pre-read.
Because you know what happens? I don't. I know some things, but
it made me sweat. So, at this point in time, the children start speaking in tongues.
Gross.
Yeah.
Nope.
Their eyes are bloodshot red. And they have these sardonic expressions on their faces.
Like all the time?
Especially when they're speaking in tongues.
Oh. So were they like waking up doing this, or were they just all the time? They're these evil little children.
Yeah, and more often than not. Not in their sleep, but in their wake time. Yes. No. Yep, so they've got these sardonic faces, and for those of you that don't know what that means, it's like a mocking look on their face, like mockingly smiling.
It's an awful face.
It's a horrible face.
It creeps me out.
Yeah. The daughter complained of being choked by an invisible force. The youngest son would have full conversations with what he deemed the ghost boy who lived in his closet. The kids would attack each other while speaking in voices that were not their own. They were deep and unnatural. I'm sure we all know what that voice is. Then one of the boys headbutted his grandmother in the stomach.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That sucks.
And, like, this is totally out of character.
Yeah.
Because, like, these kids would never speak to or hurt their mother or grandmother in any sort of...
Yeah. Like, they're respectful kids.
Yes.
Do you know how old they were?
I do know the youngest was 7. The youngest boy was 7, and... the daughter was 12. The middle son, I couldn't find his age.
Okay, but they were old enough to know. It's not like they're seeing things at 4, 3, and yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm going to go ahead and assume that the middle boy was like 9.
Yeah.
9-ish.
Around there.
Right between the 7 and 12.
That sucks for those kids.
Super sucky. Super sucky. So at this point in time, they go stay at LaToya's brother's house.
Why didn't they do that the first week?
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Because, well, the first week it was just a fly infestation.
Yeah, well, come on now.
So they go stay at LaToya's brother's house for a little bit because, you know, they're creeped out. And so while they're staying there, LaToya's brother, he hears the kids start doing strange chanting in demonic voices.
No. They're not even at their house.
No.
It's like followed them?
Like attaching.
Yeah.
Yes.
They like took them over.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Absolutely.
Damn it.
At one point, the grandmother, the uncle, and the 3 kids were in the car driving, and the kids started beating the shit out of each other. So they pull the car over and pull the kids out of the car to separate them. Then the 7-year-old looks at his grandmother and says in a deep voice, "Get your fucking hands off me, you old bitch."
Oh my God. What'd Granny do?
Granny was just like, "You're not my grandson.
Oh.
Like, you're a demon."
Damn.
Yeah, Granny. And the uncle was just like that.
Like, who are you?
Yeah. He's like, he even says in a video that he's like, he would never, ever, ever talk to his grandmother that way.
Yeah.
Ever.
Wow.
Excuse me. I'm gonna get my raspy voice on.
And
that'll
especially
be
in that deep voice.
Yeah.
You're like, you know that's not your child.
Absolutely. And so it says here he would never speak to his grandmother this way. The 7-year-old looks at his brother and says, "Are you ready to go, my brother?" And this is still in the, "Are you ready to go, my brother?"
Deeper. Okay, we're good. That's good.
And the other brother says, "Yes, my brother." And then the older boy just starts slamming himself back against the seat of the car over and over and over, like doing like this motion.
Yeah.
Like, those of you who are listening, you can't see me, but imagine, like, when you were a child, did you ever just slam your back against the back of the car because you know it moves the car a little bit, and then your mom yells at you, or is that just me?
No, that was definitely not just you.
Oh, okay. All right.
That is also my children.
Oh, good.
And me.
Oh, good. Yeah, my mom would get really mad at us.
It's so annoying.
And so you picture doing that only like times 10.
Yeah.
Right. And no thanks. So all this shit keeps on going on. Then we get to April 19th, 2012. Dr. Jeffrey Onyuku was called to the house. The boys started to scream and curse at the doctor. So the doctor called in DCS and CPS as potential child abuse was suspected.
Okay, wait though. Why was this doctor called in?
So this doctor was called in because, like, the stuff that's happening to the kids, and now the kids are starting to get hurt.
So has mom been taking them to the doctor?
Nope. They haven't gone to the hospital yet.
Okay, so she's concerned they're going to be hurt. So she called in a doctor?
Or somebody else called a doctor.
Okay.
Like, I'm so
maybe
sorry.
School,
I should have looked into that.
No, I know there
better.
was like a lot of. I know you can't find a lot of that.
Oh, that's right. They actually were missing a ton of school.
They probably called for a check.
So when the police get called because they're missing so much school.
No.
And so yes, it was probably like a wellness check, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But so this doctor, these kids are covered in bruises.
Oh, I bet they are.
They're covered in bruises, and I'm actually kind of mad at myself because I see that I didn't put it in here. This is what happens when you stay up late nights trying to
scared.
But the uncle, while they were at the uncle's house, he actually witnessed one of the boys like flying across the room, and so like these kids are being hurt.
Yeah, right.
And so yes.
So then they went back home.
Yes.
Because they were like, nothing's different here.
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah,
oh.
Absolutely.
The uncle's like, go away.
He's like, no, thank you.
See myself.
So at this point in time, CPS, they come to visit, and they witness also, they witness one of the boys being thrown into a wall by an invisible force.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes. And so that, okay, I got... Pin that, because I have a question on it here in a moment.
Okay.
So she sees him get thrown into a wall by an invisible force. And at this point, the boys are taken to the hospital.
Okay.
And once the boys were in the hospital, they both lost consciousness.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we've got Nurse Willie Lee Walker, CPS case manager Valerie Washington, the grandmother Rosa Campbell, and a psychologist, which chooses to be unnamed. These 4 take the 2 boys into a small room for examination.
Okay. ER?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. The 7-year-old starts growling at his brother and says, "It's time to die. I came to kill. I want to kill now."
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yes. And this was obviously in his deep voice that was not his own. And like the CPS lady, she even stated, she's like, there's no way that he could even pretend to make that voice.
Right. Yeah.
And so obviously creeped out. And he's 7. Yes. And so the brother, we'll say the 9-year-old, he head-butted him in the stomach.
His brother?
Yes.
Okay.
And so then while the younger brother continued to speak, the other brother started headbutting the grandmother in the stomach.
Oh, God.
The CPS case manager said that while this was taking place, the younger boy had a very weird grin. And that's probably that sardonic...
It reminds me of Smile.
Yes.
The cover?
Yes. Oof. Yeah, that was
Why
gross.
did they, like, restrain them? I mean, if they're hurting people, maybe they just weren't expecting it. It was so fast.
Yeah, maybe it all just happened so
that poor
quickly.
grandma gets headbutted all the time.
I know, grandma gets her ass whooped. She does.
Poor granny.
So, Nurse Walker stated that she watched one of the boys walk up the wall backward to the ceiling and then jump down into a backflip and land on his feet.
Okay.
And the unnamed psychologist also witnessed this. And so did the CPS lady.
Wow.
Like, they all witnessed this happen. And you know what they did?
Ran?
They fucking ran.
Did they run out?
They did. The only one that stayed in that room was the other brother and the grandmother. They're like, the grandmother's trying to catch her
Holy hell.
grandbaby. Like, oh my gosh, you're gonna fall off this wall, man.
Where's the chaplain at?
Chaplain's not here yet.
Oh, they actually called him.
Yeah.
I would say that's what I would do first thing.
Yep. Yep. So now, at this point, the children go under a psychological evaluation. There's no abnormalities found in their mental health.
How? I wonder
None.
how that evaluation was. Like, were they normal at the time?
Well, they were, and they don't even remember doing any of this.
Oh, no.
Like, they'd have zero recollection. And, like, at one point in time, the doctor even comes back later and says, hey, I want to test a theory. I want you to walk up that wall again. And little guy looks at
He's
him
like,
like
"What? I'm
like
not
he's
Spider-Man."
got 10 heads. He's
Yeah.
just like, what the hell are you talking about? I
Yeah.
can't walk up a wall. He's like, no, I just watched you walk up that wall. And the little boy is just like, you're out your damn mind.
The doctor was there?
Yeah.
When it happened?
Yep. And so they passed their psychological evaluation. No abnormalities found at all. So at this point in time, the children get removed from the custody of their mother and grandmother.
That's not cool.
No, it's not cool. And so this is where I have a question. CPS witnessed at their house this little boy get thrown against a wall
Yeah.
by an invisible force. Then you've got these other witnesses at the hospital
Right.
that witness this little boy walk up the wall backwards, and they're witnessing like the deep demonic voices, and like they're seeing all of this shit happening.
Yeah.
And they remove the kids from
Yeah,
custody.
but how do you explain that? So
Yes.
it's easier for them, right?
Right.
Because if they're saying that they saw this, everyone's going to think they're crazy.
Right.
And so they're probably just in like fight or flight mode, kind of. Like, we just need to take these kids out of the situation.
Yes. And also, I guess what would make a little bit of sense too is, I mean, they don't know LaToya and Rosa. They don't know these two women from Adam. So maybe, and this is just theorizing, they suspect that these two are into somewhat of devil worship and
Brought it on somehow.
and they're like teaching
Yeah.
their children
Totally.
how. So I guess that would make.
I think though
some
too,
sense.
sometimes like, and I don't know, but from what I understand, like CPS will take kids if they just feel the situation's off until they can investigate further,
Oh, okay.
right? Like,
Yeah.
let's just remove them, try to like figure out everything, and then go from there.
Makes sense.
So, I mean, it would make sense.
Yeah. I don't know. But either way, the boys got removed from the custody of their mother and grandmother.
How about the daughter? Was there a daughter?
There is a daughter. She's a 12-year-old. I think that all three
They
of
all
the
did?
children,
Okay.
yeah, all three of the children got removed. I just have this in a spot where I'm talking about the boys, so I say the boys.
Yeah, I just
but
wasn't
yes,
sure. Like,
all
yeah.
three of the
Okay.
children. So at this point, the hospital reaches out to a reverend named Michael Maginot, who actually exorcised one of the boys. He experienced everything that the family did, and he said that it was the actual house that was possessed. and advised that the family leave immediately. And so if he exorcised one of the boys, he obviously had to go to wherever the kids were being held, which I have no idea where that was.
Yeah, I have so many questions on that.
Yeah. It's just such a random statement that I found.
If the hospital set this up, and then he goes, so he doesn't work for the hospital, I imagine.
Unless he is
that even like hospital? Is that even legal to do on children? I thought that exorcism on children was like not allowed.
Maybe it is in Gary, Indiana.
I don't know. I thought it was like no. But I mean, in general, like it's not like it's like there's a rule like, oh, it's you can do that on adults. Like exorcism in general obviously have a gray area, but on children in the hospital, I don't know. It just seems weird.
It does seem weird. And there's a lot of things within the story that some of them make sense, some of them don't make sense. Mm-hmm. So this is probably one that doesn't. And so here in a minute, we'll talk about something else, which is going to raise a question mark on this statement that was just said. So CPS Valerie Washington and the police were still investigating the family. The police wanted to go by the house and investigate, but Valerie refused to go inside. I would refuse to go inside after watching a child walk up the wall.
Oh, yeah.
I would refuse that. Yeah. So she refused to go inside the house. So the police went to the house to inspect for carbon monoxide poisoning.
Oh, God.
Because carbon monoxide poisoning will cause hallucinations and a ton of other symptoms. Usually a home inspector would go out and test for this, but in this case, a police officer did.
Okay, wait, so it makes you turn into Spider-Man?
No.
Like, that's silly.
Yeah, they're just trying to find,
they're just grasping at straws.
That's exactly it. They're grasping at straws here. And I find it very interesting that a home inspector didn't.
So they're probably just trying to, like, for the news media or whatever, cover it up, right? Like, oh, it was carbon monoxide poisoning, and our police officer found it, and this was the cause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. So, and I do know that at one point in time, a home inspector does go out there.
Okay.
He does go out there eventually, but just not in this case.
Okay.
At this point. So the police officer walks in, and the first thing he notices is an abundance of Bibles, candles, and crucifixes.
Sure.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, like, set up in each doorway everywhere. They're all over the place.
Red flag.
Yeah. And so he also experiences footsteps, doors opening and closing on their own, sounds, like the whole shebang. This cop is experiencing all of these things. He then went to the basement and he took photos and videos.
Okay, that was my question. A cop or cops?
At this point in time, it is a cop. There are cops there, but a cop goes into the basement first.
Okay.
So when he goes down in the basement, he claimed that one of the photos that came out a little cloudy, within the cloudiness, he could see someone's face within the cloudiness. Where is this photo?
I was going to say, why don't they release these?
Like, this one has never been seen.
Probably because there's no explanation. They don't want to release that.
True. I mean, but...
I don't know.
I don't know.
Where's that? I mean, there's got to be recordings. There's got to be...
Well, there's a whole...
The exorcism.
There's a whole police report on this entire situation. Like, a big-ass
Can you see
police
it? Is
report.
it released to the public?
It is out to the public, yes.
Interesting. Okay.
It is.
And it correlates with the story?
It does.
That's cool.
Yes.
I mean, that's... Yeah.
It's actually insane that the police report correlates so closely with what the rumors are about this house.
But yeah, where's all the evidence?
Yes, like, where is this picture and why wouldn't it be released?
Yeah, sure.
So he also took another another police officer takes a photo outside in the front of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's on the sidewalk looking at the house, takes a photo.
Okay.
And he sees in this photo, and this photo actually was released in 2014.
Oh.
Like, why did... This photo was taken in 2011.
Right.
So why did they wait till 2014 to release this photo? I think
was
I
it
know.
an ongoing case?
What
do you think?
I have total theories.
About?
This photo. Well, okay, so first I'll tell you what the photo is.
Yeah.
So this photo is facing the house. And, you know, we talked about how there's a breezeway in the, like an enclosed porch area in the front of the house. So in the window of this enclosed porch area is a figure of like a man, like humanoid figure. Now, this photo raises question marks for me. And a lot of stuff I've read, there's a whole lot of question marks on this photo. First of all, why isn't it released till 2014?
Yeah.
I believe that this photo was released in 2014 due to the fact that people were wanting to start making movies and documentaries on this house. And like when you look at this photo, the background of the photo is dark. And the figure that kind of resembles like Slender Man, like super tall, skinny, very narrow shoulders, small head,
Right.
kind of long, skinny neck, like
Typical like shadow person.
But it's light.
Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah.
Oh wait, the it's not dark; it's a light. The guy is. Oh, weird.
Yeah. So the guy is like light, and the background is dark.
Okay.
Which to me, and obviously I am not an expert, but was this a Photoshop? Very well. I mean, if it was released in 2014, Photoshop was kind of a big deal, and it very easily could have been.
Also, like,
But-
why? And like you're saying, if that one wasn't released, why wasn't the other one released?
Exactly.
That's like, so they pick one photo to release, and that's it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I bet someone was trying to make that up. And who released it?
I have no idea who released that photo. But, and see, that was my question mark on the other photo. If this photo can be released,
Yeah.
then why wasn't this one released?
Yeah. An actual police one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, well, and it says that both photos were taken by policemen.
Yeah, but the other one was like in the basement.
Yeah,
this is outside.
This is outside.
Anyone could snap a picture of the porch, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yes, there are definitely, I have questions.
I'll have to see this one
on that.
Yeah, we need to look that up.
Yes. But yeah, so it didn't surface till 2014, which still I know I'm certain why. I'm so smart.
Photoshop.
So
smart.
There's a ton of skepticism
Yeah.
about this photo, but no proof. There's no proof that it has or has not been photoshopped.
Okay.
So let's see here. So while in the basement, there's a bedroom down in the basement.
Ooh.
Yeah. No effing thank you.
Yeah.
And so while the cop is down there and he's looking at different things and he's taking different photos and everything like that, every time he looks at the bedroom door, it's in a different position.
Ooh. Creepy.
Yeah.
Was that one of the kids' bedrooms?
No.
It was just a room down there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. None of the kids had
Yeah.
bedrooms down in the basement.
I don't blame them.
Not that I'm aware of anyway. But then part of me, I get confused because this is like a 2 or 3 bedroom house.
Yeah.
And so Grandma Rosa had the bedroom that's in the very front of the house by the front door. Then there's one more bedroom. Did Mama and 3 kids sleep in the same bedroom?
Or the kids shared one.
Or the kids shared one and
Someone-
Mom slept on the couch?
Until the creepy shit started happening, and then they
Yeah. Okay, I guess that...
maybe bunked in the living room or together.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't be in that freaking basement. Like,
Hell
screw
no,
you.
man.
No.
No way. So, the basement was an unfinished basement.
Okay.
Had concrete floor and, like, had cinder block walls.
Of course it did. I was just going to ask you, was it a creepy ass cinder block basement? And you just answered my question. I'm, like, envisioning this.
I mean, the cinder block was, like, painted, though.
If it had carpet, it wouldn't be scary. Come on.
Right.
It wouldn't be haunted.
Well, okay, but it's concrete.
Yeah, I know.
It's got concrete floors.
Oh.
And, but to make it a little bit creepier for you, Shani, there was one spot in this basement that was not concreted, and it was just a dirt floor.
Under the stairs.
Under the stairs.
Under the stairs.
It was just dirt. And so it raises the question, why concrete an entire basement floor and leave one section dirt?
That is weird.
It just makes no sense. And the cops, they're sitting there like, why would somebody do that?
Yeah.
And so they're taking pictures of this area as well. So the officer, he investigates this whole area. He finds candles and other items that look to be ritualistic underneath the stairs in the little dirt section. So the police officer leaves the house, pulls into a gas station that's about a mile away. At this point, his AM/FM radio goes completely static. Yeah, so he's just thinking maybe he's got like bad service in that area or whatever. And he goes to turn off the radio, and as he reaches his hand out to turn the radio off, he hears this deep, scary voice that says, "Who in there?" Scared the shit out of this cop.
Ew. What'd he do? I would just turn it off.
Oh, he did. He did. It's me.
What?
It's just me.
It's Melinda.
What do you mean, who in there? You know who I am.
I'm right here. I'm in the gas station. Come find me.
Yes. Excuse me. So, Lieutenant John Gruska, he comes to the house, and he's taking statements with a voice recorder. When he plays his recording back, he can hear a disembodied voice say, "Hey." Just, "Hey."
Hey. Okay.
Not like, "Hey." And not like, "Hey."
I was going to say, why wasn't it deep and creepy?
It was just, "Hey."
Hey. Okay. Well, whatever.
Weird.
Yeah.
I heard it, though. It was plain as day.
Oh, you heard it?
Uh-huh.
All right. We got a lot to listen to after.
Yes. My hands are sweaty because the story's
You're
creepy.
sweaty.
I'm sweaty. That's what the problem is. So all of this info was relayed to the Reverend. So he goes back out to the house, and he is sure that there is a body buried under the basement. The police and the new CPS person comes out with the Reverend, and the police dug in the area that the Reverend pointed out, which is in the dirt lot under the stairs. So they did not recover a body.
Okay.
They did, however, recover a pair of women's panties.
What?
Yeah.
Like, I need to know, like, what era these are from. Like, are they like bonnet panties or like, I mean, I'll tell you how old, right?
Yeah, and it really does not. It does
Doesn't
not
say.
say whether they were like bloomers.
Well, I mean, okay, then you know, was this like from the 20s, 30s,
Right.
2000s?
It doesn't specify. It just says
We found undies.
women's panties.
Okay.
And the actual police report just only says
That's weird.
women's panties.
Just buried.
Yeah, it doesn't say from a dated era or anything like that.
They need to get more specific. in
I
their
agree.
reporting.
People need specifics.
They do. I mean, I could crack this case if I would have known what kind of underwear those were.
Right?
Come on.
Absolutely. So, they do. They find women's panties. They find children's socks. A red pan. A pink press-on nail.
That's freaking weird.
And a comb.
It's totally ritualistic.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Absolutely.
And
Because
with
what
kids?
random items.
Yeah.
And so that's actually like, okay. Pin that for when we get to theories.
Press on nail.
Press on nail.
That's got to be newer.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yes.
got one.
Yes.
Weird.
Oh, man. And this actually kind of answered one of my questions that I have so many questions we're going to talk about at the end. And hopefully we can talk through some of these things and get it all figured out. So once they come up from the basement, they see some sort of liquid dripping off the blinds in Latoya's room.
Okay.
In Latoya's room, they see like this liquid just dripping off the window blinds. And while they're looking at the wet substance, the new CPS lady touches it. And that's how they figure out it's an oil. She touches it and she's like, oh, okay, yeah, it's definitely an oil. She says that, well, first of all, my first thought was the holy olive oil, right?
Oh, that's what I'm thinking. No?
Well, listen to this. Because I can't wrap my head around it. I can't wrap my head around a couple things with this. Anyway, her hand went painfully numb. Like it went numb and it hurt. And her fingers lost all pigmentation. Just turned completely white.
So it's got to be like some kind of a acid or like a toxic substance.
Something toxic.
It was dripping down the curtains?
It was down the blinds.
Or down the blinds?
Like they're mini blinds. And it's just dripping down these mini
Weird.
blinds. And so her color did end up coming back in her hand and the pain went away and everything like that. But so they wanted to make sure that it wasn't the holy olive oil.
Yeah.
So what they did is they wiped the blinds down, cleaned it all up, and then they closed the bedroom door because they didn't want Latoya to have a chance to go back in and put something on there.
Okay.
So when they closed the bedroom door, they put a Q-tip in the door to see if the Q-tip dropped, right? And so when they come back, Q-tip's still in the same spot, like everything's still the same. And this is all in the same day. They just walked out, went into another room to look around. When they come back in, the blinds are dripping oil and nobody had been in the room.
Why didn't they test it?
That's my question. That's my next question.
Yeah, like take a sample and go test it.
They never tested the oil.
That's so stupid because that could have potentially been a factor in what was making this family crazy.
Right.
If they weren't possessed, right?
Right.
Like carbon monoxide, but you can't test a substance that's clearly not natural.
Right. Like, why couldn't they just take a little Q-tip like the one they put in the door, put it in a little plastic baggie, and take it down to a forensic scientist or whatever?
That's weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is a major question that I have. Doesn't make any sort of sense.
No. Was this in the police report?
The oil dripping, yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
Weird.
So, next, the Reverend okay, this is where I have a question mark from earlier. So the Reverend performs an unofficial exorcism on the house and Latoya. It's deemed unofficial because it was not approved by the church. So then that statement from earlier where he performed an exorcism on the child.
Maybe he was at the church.
No, the church wouldn't approve an exorcism.
Well, they didn't approve it on her.
Or the house.
Maybe they approved it on the kid.
Maybe.
Because the hospital was involved.
Well, maybe. Yeah, I guess that.
There's got to be criteria, like you were saying, that you have to meet in order for them to approve that.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, because I was just like, well, why would this one be unofficial, but the other one was official?
Maybe because that one was at the church and it was safe, and this one's at the home, and they're like, remember they wouldn't even send anyone, and they're like, no, we're not going there.
Yeah. Okay, I guess that makes sense. So in this exorcism, is sort of an exorcism to confirm. Let me learn how to speak. To confirm demonic activity.
Okay.
But not to rid the house of it. Just to confirm it.
Okay.
Like, weird. Like, if you confirm it, why can't you get rid of it?
Maybe it was too powerful for this one guy.
He wasn't even allowed to. He was allowed to just confirm demonic activity.
I don't know.
So, Latoya had an aversion to the holy objects that were used, which included a cross and a Bible. Being that Latoya was a religious person, and had such an aversion to the items, the Reverend believed that the house, that there was a demonic presence in the house. There were 3 officers present during this exorcism to fall witness, which is extremely smart.
Oh, yeah.
To have witnesses
Totally.
to this.
And
Extremely
record
smart.
it, though. You're supposed to record that.
Yeah. I don't
Maybe
know.
they did record it.
Well, there's no video released on that.
I don't think they release a lot of those, though.
Probably. So it was also determined that the demonic presence had definitely attached itself to LaToya.
Oh, so she was evil, too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. So Father Maginot then requested permission to conduct a formal exorcism on LaToya at Stephen's Church. It was approved.
Okay.
It took 2 hours to complete the exorcism, and LaToya stated that she finally felt free.
Okay, I need to know where these kids are.
Oh, they're still in custody elsewhere.
Can you imagine being those foster parents and having a freaking little demons in your house?
I know.
Headbutting you in the head?
I know.
Like, hey, we're taking these kids away because they're possessed. Do you mind?
I wonder if they
months?
put them in like some sort of facility.
That's what I'm wondering. Was it like a home or was it like a? Yeah.
I'll put money on that it was a facility of sorts. Because I mean, obviously,
because that's like that's
shit.
high risk if they're doing that shit, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, well, I was just going to talk about the kids. The children remained in DCS custody for about 6 months before they were returned to LaToya, at which time they moved out of the house and never returned.
Okay. So she felt better, but how about them?
Well, I mean, it did say earlier that the Reverend did perform an exorcism on one of the kids. But maybe the other 2 were not fully possessed. Maybe it was just mainly one, and this demon was like hopping from kid to kid to kid type of deal.
They all seem crazy.
Agreed. And maybe there was exorcisms performed on the other kids, and I just didn't find that information.
Okay.
I'm not sure. So, we're going to skip ahead to 2014.
Am I supposed to remind you about the Muddy Prince?
About the what?
I don't know. You said to remind you about the Muddy Prince that comes. You said.
Yeah. Okay, so the Muddy Prince. I was thinking the reason there's Muddy Prince is because of that dirt area under the stairs, and if that's where the demon was coming from.
Oh, that's smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at you.
I was just trying to put 2 and 2
little
together.
investigator.
I can't help it.
That does make sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, in 2014, Zach Bagans.
Oh, gosh. I can't even. I love him so much.
Tell. So, he's, for those of you that don't know, he is from Ghost Adventures. And so, in 2014, Zach has a nightmare where he was faced with a 12-foot tall goat figure that breathed out this black smoke, and Zach had to inhale it. He woke up and his lungs actually hurt. Then, right after that, he hears about this house in Gary, Indiana.
Sign.
Well,
he's got weird stuff all the time anyway.
He does have weird stuff, but he is completely compelled to purchase this house.
Of course he was. That's why I love him.
And I'm pretty sure he purchased this house for close to $30,000.
It was $35,000, I think.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to buy that house, and he's like,
no.
I do.
He's like, pick me.
Yeah.
So, he hears that this family has been possessed. He's got to have this house. A week later, he purchases the house at 3860 Carolina Street, Gary, Indiana. He arrives at the house, and he receives a text message from his psychic medium friend that tells him to be careful, that there is a 12-foot tall demon guardian that looks like a goat in this house. Like, this demon guardian that looks like a goat he's guarding this house, and that's the same thing that he just dreamed. So that freaked him out a little bit, which also intrigued him even more.
Of course it did, yeah.
So Zach tries to speak to LaToya. She refuses.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she won't
She's
talk
like,
to him.
I'm done with this.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And so, like, he even tracks her down at her new house, which is 150 miles away.
Dang.
And, like, the only way he was able to find her house was because he saw a report that she did, a video of, like, a news report or whatever. And he was able to see the address on the house. And so he was able to track her down that way.
Crazy.
And so he went there. She was like, nope, not talking to you.
Yep.
Like, the brother was like, she won't come out. Sorry, man.
Totally.
Yeah. And so, and she says that it's because Zach has been in the house. And she is worried that a demon has already attached himself to Zach and that it would transfer to her.
Oh, she's so traumatized.
Right.
Or like a setup. Like these demons are trying to get back to her.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah.
Until he finds out later.
Uh-oh.
That was not the case. And maybe it did have a little bit to do with it, but he finds out somebody else is making a movie on this and they offered her money.
Oh, okay.
And so...
Maybe, yeah, probably.
So she wouldn't talk to Zach because it would have been a breach of contract.
Yeah.
And yada, yada, yada. And we all know LaToya needs the money.
Yeah, I would do it.
Like, that's a thing.
Well, plus that that's a big deal. It's a lot you went through.
Yeah.
You deserve some money for...
Absolutely. Money for your
doing.
troubles, man. For sure. I agree. So, regardless, she never speaks to him. But her brother does. Her brother does talk to him. And he tells Zach, like, the things that he saw and experienced, which I've already talked about in here. So, while Zach is at the house one evening, a woman named Mika pulls up. And she says that she lived at this house in the 90s. The woman and her 3 teenage children come into the house. She claims that while she lived in the house, her friend who stayed over often would hear footsteps throughout the house. Mika never went in the basement. She didn't like the basement. She refused. She never went down there when she lived there. And the basement in the bedroom was her brother's bedroom.
Oh.
Mika said she used to have dreams that someone she knew would die soon. And then her brother, whose room was in the basement, was shot and killed.
Sad.
Yeah. Mika decided it was time to leave. So, she got a little bit freaked out.
Totally.
And her son, Zach, who is also a teenager, no, that's stupid. His name is not Zach. Her son asked Zach.
Oh.
That makes way more sense.
They're talking Zach.
Yeah. But he asks him if a ghost could follow him home. And Zach asked if he was worried about that. And the kid said, yes, I'm scared.
Oh, okay. He was asking, hypothetically, could that happen?
Yes.
I thought he was asking, can I bring a ghost?
Oh,
home?
no.
No.
Yeah, and
That's
so
funny.
I'm watching the video on, okay, so first of all, I did watch Demon House that Zach actually did. This movie is Zach Bagans' movie. And so I did watch it. And, there's actual footage of this kid asking this question and the sincerity and the fear that you see on this child. And then before he gets in the car with his mom and his 2 sisters, he just stands outside the car for a long time. He just stands there and almost refuses to get in the car. And Zach is just like, what is this kid doing?
Yeah.
What is happening? Finally, he gets in the car. But, there was a real debate that you watched happen in this kid's head. Yeah. Okay. So, 2 days later, Zach gets a call from Mika. Mika's daughter, Erica, attempted suicide by overdosing on pills and stabbing herself after threatening to kill her mother. At this point, one of Zach's crew members quits.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder, did she have a history?
No.
Nothing.
Nope.
Wow.
Well, not that we could prove. I mean, Zach also asked Mika about this, and Mika's like, hell no. She would never speak to me that way, ever in a million years.
What?
Yeah, and so,
Might bring your kids there.
Right. And Zach was like, are you sure you want to bring your kids inside this house? And she's like, oh yeah, it's fine.
If you're going to go.
Right.
But don't bring your children there. Yeah. I don't know. People just don't believe things like that, I think. They don't realize the seriousness of it.
Agreed. So 3 weeks later, Zach gets Mika in touch with Father Maginot. Father Mike performs an exorcism on Mika's daughter as Mika believes she has been possessed. And so her little sister said that Erica was really weird and really calm all the time. Just like had this super eerie calmness. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And so they were just certain that she had been somewhat possessed by something. Yeah. And so in the movie, it does show the exorcism on this girl.
Interesting.
And I mean, and it's not one of those freaking out and voices raging. No, nothing like that. And then all of a sudden, she just kind of drops. Mm-hmm. And in that moment, there's like a release.
Crazy.
Yeah. So it was all very calm.
Okay.
But so let's talk about people who actually fell victim to this house. So Zach himself, while he's in the house at one point in time, he becomes very agitated and violent after setting up a religious altar in the living room. And this is caught on one of the like little security cameras that they have up in the corners of the houses and of the house and everything. His cameraman was not videoing at this point in time. And it's actually one of his cameramen that he is getting violent with.
Oh.
Yeah. Wow. And so then after after all of this happens and the camera guy leaves, the other cameraman, he's like, hey, let's go outside, get some fresh air. Like, we've been in the house for a while. Let's go outside, get some fresh air. Yeah. And Zach walks to the front door. This other guy's outside, and he's like, come on, come on. And Zach gets pissed off, and he's like, no. And he's like, no, you need to come outside. Yeah. And Zach's like, I will in a minute. Give me a minute. Like, he just didn't even want to leave the house.
Crazy.
And it was just an odd thing to watch. And so then Zach gets sick. And he can't get out of bed for 8 days.
Wow. That's a long time.
Yeah. So he got really sick. So now let's talk about the second CPS worker. Within 30 days of visiting this house, she experienced 3 broken ribs, third-degree burns from a motorcycle, broke her hand when she hit a table, and broke her ankle from running.
How'd she break her ribs?
It doesn't explain. This
Weird.
is just one of the things that she has experienced since she has been
crazy.
Yes.
Huh.
The home inspector that came at one point in time, after leaving the house, a tree almost fell on his car while he was driving. He was choked by an unseen force while he was sleeping.
Gross.
And then he developed cancer, like right after that.
Dang. Who is this?
A home inspector.
Oh, the inspector. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, he's just doing his job.
Yeah. And then Father Maginot, while on his way to do the second exorcism on LaToya, on LaToya, he explains an attack while on his bicycle. He said that everyone was staring at him like, what is that? Like, as he's riding his bicycle, all the heads are turning and just staring at him in this totally fucked up manner. Like, he's got 10 heads.
I still can't get over the fact he's riding a bicycle.
I know. I love it.
Like, he's not driving a car. Like,
nope, he's riding
his like bicycle. Suit, just riding his little trike.
Absolutely.
Just living life. Okay.
And so all of a sudden, he's on the ground, and his bike seat is turned 45 degrees.
That's crazy.
And he just is like looking up, like,
where
the hell happened?
Yeah. What happened?
Yep. The police officer, 2 days after meeting with Zach, ended up in the ER after both feet slipped out from under him on a sidewalk. He stepped on a patch of ice. My feet would probably slip out from under me on a patch of ice too, maybe.
Yeah, mine just did that.
Yeah, I know. But you're coordinated.
No. It hurt.
He also got shot during a home invasion, but he survived.
Okay.
One of Zach's cameramen is believed to have been possessed and may still be possessed. Like, there was this big altercation that took place in the hotel, and like, it's on camera. The whole
hotel?
thing's, yes, they were staying at they didn't stay in the house.
Okay.
They were staying in a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, you see this cameraman of his freaking out, completely freaking out, going up and down the halls, yelling, and he's yelling at something and, like, bring it on, bitch, type of deal. Like, try it. I'm gonna mess you up, type of thing. And he opens the door to the elevator and he starts yelling at this thing. And then the elevator doors close like they do. And then he paces a little bit and he's pissed off. And then he opens up the doors again and he's yelling at this thing. And so they finally get him in the room to calm him down or whatever. And he's like, I don't know who it is, but he looks like a goat.
Weird. That big guy.
Yeah, goosebumps on my face. So anyway, this cameraman, he ends up quitting, or Zach fired him. Like, I don't know. I don't remember exactly what took place on that. But then he ends up kind of going wonky, and he gets like 666 tattooed on his hand. And
what?
Yeah.
He doesn't work for him at all anymore.
No.
We'll have to look that up.
Yeah. Zach's pretty worried about him. And so then Zach ends up going almost blind. Like, he's down in the basement and he's getting this eye pain over and over. Like, his eyes just hurt. Mm-hmm. And it happened multiple times throughout this house. And so then he finally ends up going to the doctor, and it's this major issue all of a sudden. And, like, they can't do surgery on it, because if they do surgery on it, there's a very high risk chance of total blindness. So now he wears prism glasses.
Oh, yeah. I have seen his glasses.
Yep.
Really? That's since then, huh?
Yep. Since the house. That's when he got his prism glasses.
Wow.
Yes.
I had no idea.
Yep. And so Zach does the only thing plausible. He demolishes the house.
Demolishes it.
Tears it down. And while he tears it down, I'm going to let Shani tell this part, because Shani told this to me. I was unaware of this, but she told me this, and I am completely intrigued by it.
Well, so we went, just went to Vegas, went to the museum, Zach Bagans, you can look it up. Super cool museum. He has, like, all kinds of crime scene, just everything in this museum. It's insane. But he has the staircase. So when he demolished the house, I don't know what year he did that. So he bought the house and was supposed to, he wanted to investigate it, right, for 2 years, I think was the whole goal.
Yeah, so he demolished it in 2016.
Okay. So he wanted to take something from the house to put in his museum that he collects. And so he has the staircase and actually took the dirt from under the staircase and transported it. So it's behind, like, glass, but you can see it's really, it's creepy. Like, it's the staircase, the dirt under, and he might even, I don't remember if he has some of the things that they found, like, dug up. I think he does. But then it, like, kind of tells a story.
Did he keep the panties?
Oh, I don't remember panties. All right, we got to go back. And then it kind of tells the story, but he was so creeped out. He's like, we just had to end production because it was just, it was doing too much to too many people.
Yep.
But yeah, he kept the full staircase and the real dirt, and it has it underneath, and then it's totally locked up, and it's creepy. Like, you can poke your head in and, like, look at it, and it's just it's so eerie. Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah.
So that's when I got that idea to tell Melinda. I was like, oh my gosh, this story.
When Shani got back from Vegas, she's like, Melinda, you have to look into this story. I'm like, I know that story. I don't want to look into that story. she's like, no, you have to. And so then I fell victim to peer pressure.
Yeah, put her in a headlock.
Had many sleepless nights.
You have to look it up.
Had many sleepless nights.
Yeah.
So really quick, before we end this, let's talk a couple theories here.
Okay.
So one theory that I did hear was like that maybe the whole neighborhood was kind of in on this, because this is a very poor neighborhood. And, like, maybe if they make this haunting something real, like, they can get movies and stuff like that going and make some money. Like, so that is one of the theories that takes place, trying to debunk the actual haunting.
Stupid.
Yeah. So the landlord, the person who owned this house before Zach, he said that there has never been a report of a haunting there. Ever.
Except for that lady.
Right.
She just didn't report it.
Right. And so that, So I was trying to find in all of my research, like when did all these hauntings take place? Like how many tenants have actually experienced things?
Yeah.
And I literally wasn't able to find anything. Like nobody documented anything anyway.
Weird.
Until this case. So when Mika comes on and starts talking, I'm like, okay, is that real? Or she has now heard about this house and she's heard that Zach Bagans has bought it.
Like,
and she's like, ooh, yeah, let's get on camera.
Totally, yeah.
So that's plausible. It is. Did she really experience something in that house when she lived there in the 90s? I'm not sure on that. But the fact that there was like a pink press-on nail in there.
Yeah.
And so I do believe there was some sort of ritual that happened under those stairs.
Totally.
And I do believe that somebody probably opened up this portal, this bad portal to hell. And so if this ritual was conducted, now it could have been done in the 90s because there was press-on nails in the 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, women had panties in the 90s.
Did they?
I think so. I did.
Pantyhose.
Pantyhose. Oh, God. But yeah, so, I mean, that totally could have taken place in the 90s. And it could have been like she was a teenager. Mika was a teenager at the time. She was 19 when she lived there. So maybe her and a group of friends went down and did
she did it.
Right?
Or she was never in the basement.
So she
maybe
says,
the people prior did
or
something.
maybe her brother.
Someone did something. Or her brother.
Yeah.
Because he died.
Yeah.
Right?
He did.
Someone did something and locked it up and didn't say anything. And then somehow, with them going in the basement, it must have stirred it up.
Yeah, it must have. And also, there's lots of squatters. Like, between tenants, there's a ton of squatters that come in and stay in there when the house is vacant.
Yeah.
So, any of them.
Well, and even, like, how people don't report hauntings. Like, would you? Unless, if it was severe, I get it. But if you're, like, in a house.
Yeah, no.
Because, like, we've had rentals where I've had really creepy things happen. And I'm not going to, like, tell the landlord, like, oh, your house is haunted. Like, that's weird, right?
Yeah. No, I would tell Shani. But...
Yeah, right. Like, but you just don't. So it's like, just because it wasn't reported doesn't mean anything.
Absolutely. So. And being that this house was built in 1926, like, I was trying to find history on it, like, who the original owner was and stuff like that. I can't find anything on this house except for this haunting. Like, this haunting has completely taken over the internet when it comes to this address. Yeah. You really can't find shit else on it.
Oh, I bet there's so much locked up. Like, it's all sealed.
Yeah, I just have so many questions about it.
I did want to ask, with the nurse, social worker, all those people, they quit, from what I understand, right?
Yes.
They quit.
Yep.
One won't speak.
Yes.
And the others, what?
One will speak. Two nurses will not speak. One will speak.
Okay.
She doesn't like to, but she will speak on it. The CPS lady, the original one that saw all the scary shit. Yeah. Valerie Washington. She did speak to Zach Bagans. Sorry. She did speak to him over like a video chat. She moved far away.
Yeah, see, that's what's crazy. Like, all the workers left. Like, that tells you something. But also the ER has cameras.
Yeah.
So it's like, where's that footage?
Yeah, but do they have cameras in patient rooms?
They have them in the ER rooms, yes. For things that happen that are bad. And so that's why I'm wondering, unless the hospital's like, we don't want anything to do with this. Nothing happened. We didn't see anything.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know.
Hear no evil, see no evil. Speak it. Speak no evil.
It's creepy. Yeah. We gotta go to that museum and check that out again.
For sure. I want to. We'll go soon.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Creepy.
All right, guys. Okay. So that is the story on the Demon House / Portal to Hell. So if you have any comments, any theories, any questions, please send them my way. I would love to see any other theories that anybody else has. And so...
maybe there is no theories. Maybe it's just true.
Well, I mean,
right?
I believe from what I saw, from what I saw and what I researched, I 100% believe it. I do. But you do have your skeptics out there. Yeah. And like, I would love to see what you guys have to say about it. So that's it for tonight. Thanks for joining, guys. Bye. Thanks for joining, Misfits. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. After all, mystery loves company.